Hello, Santa Monica. You know what? We've been doing this for over a month now, and we've had a lot of good communication. So let's start this over. Hello, friends. My name is Sergeant Rick with the Santa Monica Police Department, and I'm here today to guide you through the Blue Notebook review for the dates of August 17th to August 23rd. So during this week, we responded to 2,619 calls for service, giving us a total of 78,506 calls year to date. Of those 2,600 calls for service, 79 led to arrests, with 57 of them being from our homeless population. Our motor officers conducted 152 traffic stops, with 147 leading to citations. And in between handling radio calls and self-initiated activity, our patrol officers conducted 125 traffic stops, issued 53 citations, and gave 71 advisals. Our patrol officers arrested an individual who was found nude near a children's playground at Ozone Park. Your officers also responded to a residential burglary where a bicycle was taken from a subterranean garage. Fortunately, the victim had an AirTag hidden on the bike. The victim, along with the responding officers, followed the AirTag ping to Venice, where the suspect was arrested. And to make things even better, they were able to identify the suspect as the one who stole the bike by surveillance footage. So let's get the camera on me. This is a great example of using SEPTED to secure your property, whether it's your residence or your business. One of the models of SEPTED is there's not just one thing that's going to deter a criminal from breaking in or stealing items. There's layered approaches. In case one fails, there's a second approach or a third. And that way, as we saw with this, one without the other wouldn't have worked the way it did by this resident, and kudos to you for having a multi-layer approach on this. So let's just say, for example, all he had was the AirTag, and we followed that and we got the guy. He could have easily said, oh, he bought this bike from someone else. So he would have just been arrested for possibly like possession of stolen property. And then let's go the other route where there's just surveillance footage but no AirTag. Then now we have at least footage of the person that took the bike, but we don't have the bike and we don't have the guy in custody. But because this resident included both, we're able to locate the bike and use the footage to figure out that he was the one that broke in and took it. So by using that multi-layered approach that SEPTED so often recommends, this led to a successful outcome. And then just a side note for you, like if you go to our crime dashboard and you look at the residential burglaries, because this was taken from a subterranean garage, it's still considered a residential burglary, even though they didn't break in to the person's residence. And I think of note, I think it's 47% of resburgs are from garages. So let's talk about that for a second. Make sure you harden the ability for a crook to break into your garage. And if you're one of those residents where you have a door that leads from the garage inside your residence, make sure that's locked too. So now we're starting to layer our security. Our downtown services unit made several great arrests. They saw a known parolee in the area of 4th and Colorado. When they attempted to detain him, he threw his glass pipe down and kicked an officer multiple times. Needless to say, he was arrested. Several shoplifters were arrested from stealing from TJ Maxx and Hugo Boss. And this is good. A traffic stop for tinted windows led to the arrest of both the driver and the passenger. Both were on parole, one for robbery and one for witness intimidation, and both were rearrested. Our DART officers made 13 arrests this week. A notable one was where a parolee at large for arson damaged 2 different vehicles in a 1550 beach lot. A foot pursuit ensued until the suspect stopped to square off with the officers. He, too, was taken into custody. Our crime impact team continued their directed enforcement, doing several probation compliance checks, livability operations, and crime suppression in the downtown area. During one of the probation checks on Bryn Mawr, the officer found a stolen e-bike linked to a residential burglary. A probation hold was placed and he was arrested. Our community engagement team, my team, are continuing to work with the Waymo to handle the congestion in their staging area. They also visited a local preschool on 19th Street to engage with the children to talk about safety. They assisted Randy's Donuts with graffiti removal and coordinated a coffee with a cop, which we just had today. Let's get the camera on me. Before you start to make donut and cop jokes, take a second and raise your hand if you don't like donuts. Okay, now two things. Firstly, you just raise your hand to a video. And secondly, there is no secondly. I just want to emphasize the first point. Do you actually know where that all started with cops and donuts? So years ago, when cops would work the graveyard shift, so overnight, the only thing open were donut shops. So cops would just go in, grab a donut. A lot of them made sandwiches too, and grab a cup of coffee so they can stay up all night to protect you. So that's how it actually all started. Now there's a lot more places that are open, so a lot less cops and donut shops. But the one on 16th and SM, they actually make really good sandwiches. Our help team conducted 155 self-initiated stops and responded to 43 radio calls. They continued their collaboration with hosts to clean up multiple transient encampments throughout the city. Our animal services have 24 dogs and 22 cats in their care. During this week, y'all adopted 3 dogs and 4 cats. So thank you very much. And it looks like we have a gang problem in a 2200 block of 4th Street. A gang of raccoons were seen acting aggressively towards people and their pets. There's even a report of a dog being attacked and bitten by one of the raccoon gang members. Looks like we may have a turf war between the raccoons and the coyotes. A modern-day West Side Story. If you're my age or slightly older, you get that reference. If you're one of the young ones, you probably don't know who the Jets are. Our Harbor Services unit responded to 10 medical calls, 19 calls for service, conducted 1 rescue, and found 1 lost individual. It appears we had a sexual assault when an adult male attempted to touch a young female at the arcade. He was located later on after trying again at a different location. Fortunately, he was arrested. And that, my friends, concludes this week's review on the Blue Notebook. How about we get to the comments, huh? Looks like we have quite a few comments. PR, this is from Armando Lopez. What's up, Armando? PR is so important. Thanks, SMPD. Thanks, Armando. I think so too. I love the fact that now we're putting out these videos to make you all aware as to what's going on. Love this post. Wish at Santa Monica PD had been doing this for years. I agree, but we're doing it now. But why would you post this on a holiday Sunday right after 9 p.m.? Your social media people know a few residents will see it. Please explain. Because we're not posting it to get like the best algorithm for views and things of that nature. It's really when we have the ability to do it. You say here your social media people. Let's reframe that to social media person. She's really busy. But that's when we're actually able to do it. So I'm sorry, but it's on social media. You can see it the next morning, or the next afternoon, or the next evening. Grazie mille. I appreciate the conversation as well. Looking forward to next week and for the week of August 25th. That's from Maria Mariani. Well, grazie. I'm glad you like it. From Barney Alfs. Really appreciate the Blue Notebook review. Many people in Santa Monica aren't aware of all the service that SMPD provides. Please take note of the many vehicles with expired registration driving around Santa Monica. Noted. And we have increased our traffic stops. And expired reg is one of them. I think I remember seeing, I don't know if it was this week or last week, but we stopped a vehicle for expired reg, and that led to an arrest. So we are taking note, but thank you for that. Can you say homeless, or do you have to use unhoused? That's from Blue-Eyed Baltic. I actually use both. I just don't want to sound repetitive, so I don't always say homeless. I don't always say unhoused. I just interchange the two. But yeah, so I do. Actually, earlier today. Earlier in this message, and last week. From Swamp Kingdom and Kate Middleton, Santa Monica is not safe. I think one was in all caps. Well, it depends what you're comparing it to. But I think Santa Monica is actually getting safer, and all the data shows that Santa Monica is getting safer. And as laws are changing and we're able to arrest more for felonies instead of misdemeanors, that prevents a lot of the repeat offenders. To take note, during the crime meeting we had yesterday, the Target on 4th Street, which normally has a large amount of shoplifters, had none. And that's because the repeat offenders are now being arrested for the felony section and not the misdemeanor section. So as laws change and we continue to make these arrests, then it's only going to get safer. But I grew up in Santa Monica. This is my home. This is where I grew up since I was 6 years old. And it's definitely getting safer. Are you going to find the perpetrators who assaulted a Jewish man for wearing a Star of David? This is from Catherine Huri. I believe you're talking about during last weekend's protest. And just know, we are investigating it. And I have no doubt in the skill set of our detectives. So we are investigating the matter. From Ask the Stash, thank you for your service. Thanks, Stash. I always look forward to seeing what you're going to write. From Forever Glam 34, what I dealt with Friday night with SMPD officers still got me shaken up right by my home. I'm sorry, I don't know what you're referencing. But if you want to talk about it, you can email me. We'll put it down below, but it's richard.verbeck@santamonica.gov. Email me. I'll try to explain to you what happened. Sometimes just even that explanation alone will make someone feel better. So reach out. From Ashley Francis Hayes. Love this. Thanks, Ashley. I appreciate that. And from the original JP, my new favorite series. Thanks, JP. That's actually mine, too. I really enjoy doing this every week. And hopefully it continues. I think it will. Well, now that concludes this week's Blue Notebook review. That's all, folks. And scene.